The mission today is to go and resupply the troops at Whakatane and also to provide some food in this area here.
New Zealand team captain, squadron leader Ian Davey Martin, explains the tasks and terrains the aircrew will be expected to fly over New Zealand's North Island. Pre-event socialising's on the back burner now as the teams get down to some serious planning.
We've had a week here where we've flown 3 or 4 times. Today's our practice day and tomorrow's the big competition day. So we're just working up towards tomorrow, really.
The operation in East Timor last year was one demonstration of the importance of coalition airlift training. The RNZAF still has an aircraft on station in Darwin. And if past performance in this contest is anything to go by, the Kiwis will have no trouble in competing on an equal footing. The crews collect the weather briefing for their low-level mission. They know that every step of the way, their flight will be assessed for accuracy and pinpoint timing.
It's about the maximum challenge that you can get. The route is very tough to fly. The timings that they have to meet are going to be very tough to meet. They have to really have an awareness before they get in the airplane of what their task is if they're going to meet the challenge.
Hopefully we'll stay off the tops of the hills for us. It's about 2,000 feet. So,
Flight Lieutenant Mark Nash's RAF team are ready for the off, determined to prize the Bullseye trophy from the Kiwis, who won it 2 years ago in the UK.
It's enough to keep us busy. It's a 2-hour sortie each day, in which we have several drops to do, landings and spot navigation. So yeah, it's reasonably taxing.
Ahead of them are a series of manoeuvres to be performed over unfamiliar territory, designed to extend the operating envelope for all the teams taking part. For the flight crews, Bullseye is very much a chance to get back to basics.
Some of us do have mission planning systems, but we're not using it, otherwise that could give us an unfair advantage. Once airborne, the aircraft are fairly computerised. We have inertial navigation systems tied into GPS, and the systems are fairly similar on all the aircraft. It's quite realistic to go back to basics, actually. When we were down in Sierra Leone in May earlier on this year, we took our computer planning system with us, but it was so hot and muggy and humid that the system didn't work particularly well, so you can't fail a pencil, a ruler and a piece of string.
If it weren't for the task in hand, this would be a great way to explore New Zealand. But despite the spectacular scenery, back in the hold, the loadmaster has his mind firmly on the competition. This load has to be airdropped with pinpoint precision onto a ground target. It's looking good for the RAF. On terra firma, Flight Lieutenant Tony Collins has his tape measure at the ready and confirms that the RAF teams dropped their pallets within 67 metres of the marker. The Canadian Hercules, meanwhile, fails to find the drop zone. They fly past it twice.
Our Canadian crews have never flown in this type of terrain. They're used to flying where there's many lakes. Here, there's not so many lakes. There's the odd couple of big ones. But for the most part, they're going to be navigating on small streams and a lot of roads that are they're defined on the maps, but they're not overly clear on the route because they're just small gravel roads.
35 seconds late there.
After a day of precision flying comes the moment of truth, as the crews are debriefed by the adjudicators. Penalty points are deducted for each second late and each inch away from the drop zone target. And despite the best efforts of the RAF team, they could only manage second and third places.
This type of exercise allows Kiwis to get out there and demonstrate to themselves that they are as capable as anyone else, that in many respects we're not actually an underdog, that our equipment is generally speaking on a par, particularly in the transport aspects.
And there could be no better endorsement of that than a home win for the Kiwis in this year's competition. They walked away with the Bullseye Trophy yet again, proving you don't have to have a huge transport fleet to be the best in the business. Until next year, that is.